it's good to be back in the neighborhood. A place that has had a significant impact on my life. A place that gave me the opportunity to meet the Walkers, Carol and Bert. Two wonderful people that adopted me and my family and took us as one of their kids and made an impact and a difference in our lives as we hope we made in theirs. And if you think about that first curve, and that first curve is simply an organization like Eden, been around for a very long time. And that first curve essentially describes that initial journey where we take off, we have a mission, we're defined to have an impact on the world. And then in the course of moving forward in life, in the years, we come to that second point. And if I can call that second point the eye of the storm, that is the point where we're challenged. That's the point where you either keep going forward, you decide to stay where you are, or in many instances, that's the point that most organizations die. I remember one of my past mentors, when I was a professor in Texas, he always talked about the fact that every organization, like a human being, is born to die. But he said, but there are organizations that defy death. And the reason why they defy death, the reason why they can exist for 150 years, 200 years, is because they find a way to reinvent themselves. They find a way to replace the body parts. They find that way to stay relevant. Wallace Davis was his name, and he talked about this reality, and I say that reality is where we are now, where we can either call it a day and just go home, or we decide to raise the bar, to set our strategic goals even further, to move beyond where we ever conceived we could. And that brings us to the second curve. And that second curve is when we decide that we're not satisfied being successful, that where we want to be is significant. I think most organizations are successful, but very few organizations are significant. And it is the organizations that are significant that defy death. It is the organizations that are significant that find a way to last for a very long time. It is these organizations that will be there, that will be around when Jesus comes back. Because they are not satisfied with status quo. They do not want to be irrelevant. Because irrelevance, my friends, is worse than death. And I want you to think about that. When you become irrelevant, what that means is everything that you've done, everything that you've put forward, the difference that you made, gradually just sort of goes away. And being irrelevant is really bad, because when you're relevant and you're still around, you get to watch the things that you build gradually dissipate. There are so many organizations today that are becoming irrelevant, and they don't know it. So how do you fight the tendency of irrelevancy? I suggest that the way we fight that is not to be satisfied with status quo. The way we fight that is not to be satisfied with success. The way we fight that is to seek to challenge ourselves to set more challenging goals.